Hello North Park, Jordan Elgie, pastor of Worship Arts, here coming to you from my living room with the AGM video for 2020. Well, not much needs to be said about how strange and disappointing of a year it has been. So I'm not going to bemoan all the things that we couldn't do. Instead, I'm going to highlight some of the things that we had the opportunity to do by being online. So going all the way back to March 2020, took us a few weeks to settle into an online format, but we managed it. After 2 weeks of recording on site, we realized the importance of staying home in the early days of COVID. So worship at North Park came to you from my basement. Remember this look? Okay, quick trivia. How many of you figured out that those are Emily and my music degrees hanging on the wall behind us? No, not a humble brag. That's the only wall space in our home that was big enough and quiet enough for us to record in. Also, who noticed the lovely family portraits of both Emily and my extended family? They make it into just about every recording. We celebrated Good Friday from home. And for Easter Sunday, also from home, we were able to feature North Park's first ever virtual choir with a bunch of members of our worship teams. It was really fun putting that all together. As things continued after many weeks of recording from the basement, we managed to get some recordings in at church during the summer. And I have to say, what a joy it was to play and sing and worship along with others after months of being home. And we also even managed a recording from my in-laws' house in the woods outside of Ottawa, Ontario. During the summer of 2020, we also had special guests Phil and Marissa Odd lead us for 2 weeks from Calgary. And then when fall arrived, we felt we had good and safe protocols in place to make the switch back to full teams leading us from Fanshawe. Eventually, once November came around and after lots of research and learning on the fly, we made the switch to live streaming. It was not without its difficulties. Who remembers the first weekend when the audio was just choppy and we couldn't hear anything? Let's just say that there was a steep learning curve for figuring out all of our streaming infrastructure. Christmas and Christmas Eve 2020 gave us the opportunity to record some truly special music featuring a classical trio and some more contemporary music, along with a simple but wonderful brass ensemble. That service concluded with the touching candlelight video, which allowed us a little glimpse of some families and staff, the families of North Park staff and elders. Then, just as we were hoping perhaps to be able to switch back to worshiping together with limited capacity on site, live in person at Fanshawe, we saw lockdowns upon lockdowns coming into place. And we waded into the unknown and ever-changing waters of 2021. This meant our teams had to shrink in number a little bit to comply with local guidelines. But knowing that God's not limited by the number of people on a worship team or the number of people in a building, we move forward into 2021, leaning into whatever God has for us and trusting that He is with us even though we're all online. Even though we're separated by screens, we know that God transcends the internet and God transcends a screen. So we look forward to what God has for us in the rest of 2021.